A terrifying car crash on the streets of San Francisco ends in a dispute between drivers.
Windows come down, people start screaming. We have no idea what happened. It could have been a terrorist attack for all we know.
I wasn't drag racing, I was just driving my car carefully.
I hope you wouldn't be driving around doing something as irresponsible and stupid as drag racing on the streets of San Francisco.
Plaintiff Petra Oster-Milchner says the defendant was drag racing and lost control, causing him to crash into her parked car. She's suing for a totaled vehicle. Defendant Carnell Hickman Butler says the accident wasn't his fault and he owes nothing because a pothole caused him to lose control of his car.
All rise. Court is in session. The Honorable Judge Faith Jenkins presiding. Please be seated. Your Honor, the litigants have been sworn in. This is the case of Oster-Milchner versus Hickman Butler.
Thank you, Juan. Petra Oster-Milchner?
Yes.
You were suing the defendant, Carnell Hickman Butler.
Yes, Your Honor.
For $10,000, you say he owes you for totaling your vehicle in an accident?
That's correct, Your Honor.
And you understand the statutory maximum in my courtroom is $5,000?
Yes, I've been
Okay, so why don't we start from the beginning? I understand that this was a pretty serious accident that happened with your car. What day did this take place?
Yes, on December 6th, I was downtown San Francisco with a friend inside a wine bar. And we were sitting there chatting away, and suddenly a huge crash occurs right behind our backs. I turn around, and the whole windows are shattered of the bar we're sitting in. I look outside, and I see my car that I just bought 6 months ago in pieces. I could not believe what just happened.
What kind of car was it?
It was a Honda Civic.
What year?
I just bought it from a coworker. It was a 2008 with only 80,000 miles. So I bought it for $10,000 cash down.
So you're sitting in the wine bar, and you hear this crash, and the windows in the wine bar, the glass actually shattered?
Windows come down, people start screaming. We have no idea what happened. It could have been a terrorist attack for all we know. So I run outside. I immediately start filming. I have photos right here, if I may show you.
Yes, Juan.
The heaviness of the accident. There were a total of 3 cars involved.
Thank you.
And I start running outside.
Wow, which one of these is your car?
The Honda Civic right here is my car.
Okay.
This is the defendant's car, and this is a Toyota SUV that was also parked right behind my car.
Okay.
Both cars were completely totaled, and I was actually standing in that spot right before, 5 minutes before it happened, talking on the phone. I could have died that night. Both cars were smashed in, business windows came down, and no drivers to be seen anywhere.
So when you came outside, he was not in the car?
No, I approached the crime scene, immediately filming, and there was nobody on the scene.
Okay, you can walk back over, please, thank you. And what time of night was this?
This happened at 9:30 p.m.
9:30, okay.
Objection, Your Honor.
Well, sir, she hasn't even...
You gotta let her talk.
How do you even know what she's talking about?
Lack of evidence.
How do you even know what she's talking about yet? You're already objecting? I can't wait to hear your side of this. Trust me.
Okay, Your
you will
Honor.
have plenty of time to speak on this today, okay?
Okay.
And you also submitted video from the scene?
Yes, there's a video that I immediately filmed when
Let me take a
it
look at that.
occurred. So shaking right now. Are you okay? Where is she? Right there. So you can see there are no drivers. I approached the crime scene, and I'm wondering where are the people involved in this accident.
So what happened? How did you end up finding the defendant?
Well, I interviewed some witnesses, and as you can see on this police report right here, there are statements that
let me
apparently
just-
there was a drag race.
No. I will look at the police report. I understand you submitted that in evidence, but I want to know from your own eyes and ears that night how you were able to make the connection to the defendant.
So after the accident occurred and I received the police report, I looked the defendant up on Facebook.
So that night, you never saw him at the scene of the accident?
No.
And how long were you there at the scene?
I was at the scene for about an hour and a half dealing with everything.
And you never saw him at the scene of the accident that night?
This is actually the first time I just made eye contact with him.
Okay, and so how do you know this is the right person standing in front of me today?
A funny thing happened that moment. As the accident happened, people started, of course, circling around the crime scene, and...
Well, it's an accident scene. It's not a criminal case.
Okay.
Okay.
As the accident scene starts building up with an audience around it, suddenly I see a stranger working himself through the crowd, approaching the trunk. At that point, I'm looking at the scenario thinking it's some homeless guy trying to steal something take an opportunity from the situation. So I start screaming like, hey, and I get the crowd involved. People start noticing, and guys in the crowd start wrestling defendant down.
I'm trying to understand this because you told me earlier today is the first time you're laying eyes on him.
I saw him for the first time that night, but I first made eye contact with him today.
Okay, that's the distinction you're making. You're making eye contact with him today.
Yes. I saw him that
But you
evening.
did see him that night at the scene?
Of course.
Okay, so I have one question for you.
Yes.
How long were you at the scene before you say the defendant appears?
10 minutes.
Okay, Mr.
All right, welcome back. And so, yeah, that's the first clip of Judge Faith, and this is called Drag Racing or Pothole. And so she has these two people here in a car accident case, and let's see, the plaintiff, you know what I'm saying? She, you know what she reminded me of? She reminded me of the villain from Rocky and Bullwinkle, Natasha Fatal. That's what she reminds me of. Anyway, I just noticed off the bat when she started talking about what happened, she kept using this language. And remember what we talked about, like certain language we use and asking questions and all this and that, and bias and all this and that. And so I just noticed she was using this incriminating language, like she kind of like, you know, it could have been a terrorist attack, could have died that night, you know, that may be true. She approached the crime scene, and Judge Faith had to tell her, like, this ain't a crime scene, this is a car accident scene, okay? And, you know, thinking that the other guy was a homeless guy trying to steal something, you know, I just noticed that off the bat. And she was trying to play victim a little too good, even though everything she explained may have all been true. And but you gotta pick those things up, right? And then you got this broke down Michael B. Jordan over here. And so we're gonna hear his side as well. And so that was the main thing I noticed about her testimony. And like I said, everything she said may have been true and whatnot, but just how she said it, you know what I'm saying? It kind of rubbed me the wrong way. And so I'm interested to hear the other side and what happened in this car accident, you know? Was he drag racing or was he not? Let's see, all right.
Mr. Butler.
Yes, Your Honor.
Is that your car in the photo, in the video?
Yes, that is my car.
That is your car. And it was involved in the accident that night?
Yes, it was.
Were you driving that car, sir?
Yes, I was driving that
Tell
car.
me what happened.
Okay, so there was no drag racing whatsoever, any form or fashion.
Okay.
So my tire...
Put your papers down.
My tire was slowly leaking air, and this was prior to the whole situation before anything transpired. I just got off of work and noticed my tire was leaking air. So I took it to the shop to get the tire changed.
What time did you take the car to the shop?
Between 4:30 and 5 o'clock. So in the midst of doing that, I talked to the people in the shop, and they tell me that my tire has a security lug nut on it from the manufacturer of the car company, Acura. So that special lug nut corresponds to the year and model of that car. So,
okay, and so you weren't able to get the part you needed that day to make the repair. So what, you go directly home and park the car?
I went to the gas station to put air in my tire because they wouldn't allow me to change my tire.
Okay.
So after I went to the gas station, I just figured if I drive carefully, that nothing will happen to my car. I pretty much could just keep putting air in my tire and everything will be okay.
So what happened at 9:30 that night? Sir, tell me how the accident happened.
Okay. I'm driving up the street and it just got done raining heavily. And as I'm about to approach the stoplight...
How fast were you driving?
Between 30 and 35 miles per hour.
Okay.
Yeah. And as I approached the stoplight, I was about to stop, but my car hit a pothole before I could stop, before I even hit the brake.
So you were slowing down to stop?
Yeah, before I stopped at a complete stop.
So you were going even slower than 30 to 35 miles per hour?
Yeah, a little bit slower.
And you hit a pothole?
As I approached the pothole, I was going 30 to 35. So once I hit the pothole, my back tire popped, and the car started to hydroplane.
Okay.
And as soon as the car hydroplaned, I just had a sudden reflex, and it made me turn the wheel the wrong way due to panic and fear. So by me turning the wheel the wrong way, it went in the direction of the parked cars instead of turning it or just letting the wheel turn itself.
Okay, and so that happens, and then what do you do after you hit the cars? What do you do?
Well, after I hit the car, I sit in the car for a second because my mind is just in a daze. I'm seeing stars.
What do you do when you get out of the car?
As soon as I get out the car, I sat down on the curb between some cars across the street. And I just sat there, and I was bleeding for a while, just sitting there.
Were you injured?
Yes,
How?
I was injured. My head was injured, and my arm and my leg was injured.
So this is a one-car accident. Your car hits parked cars, right? No other driving cars. Your car hits parked cars.
Right.
They're total. Do you have insurance on your car?
Yes, I do have insurance on the car.
No, not do. Did you, the night of this accident back in December,
Yes, I
were
did.
insured?
I had insurance due to my understanding of insurance, but
Well, no, it's not your understanding of insurance. Did you have insurance or not?
yes, I did.
You either had it or you did not.
I did, but they said I didn't.
Who's they? The insurance company?
Yeah, because they merged
Okay,
over and
so
changed
you
it.
say you did. You understand it matters what they say, right? They're the insurance company?
Right.
You did not have insurance.
All right, welcome back. So we heard the defendant side of the story, right? And so it's not really adding up, is it? I mean, you know, claiming that, okay, the tire shop wouldn't fix your tires, so I'm gonna go try to do it myself and then still drive, you know? And it's like, how, that doesn't, it just didn't make sense to be driving 30, 35 miles an hour and you hit a pothole that pops your tire, that leads you to hydroplaning. I don't think you can hydroplane after hitting, especially after hitting a pothole. You know, if his tire popped and he was still driving, that could be more realistic. But after hitting a pothole, you naturally slow down. The car's gonna slow down, and so what it does sound like, and then his injuries don't make sense either. To had hit a pothole and your tire popped and you got head injury, bleeding, and you only going 30, 35 miles an hour. I know it don't take much, but that's not as realistic as, say, someone drag racing and they hit these two cars, these two parked cars, and with the damage from the video, come on, bro, you want us to believe that? It just don't add up, right? And then, you know, he didn't have insurance, you know, saying he thought he had insurance, didn't have insurance, he has no defense, you know what I'm saying? Like, and then I didn't record the part where he talked about the pothole and then brought up trying to sue the city for it, and it's like he tried to sue the city. He submitted a claim 3 days before this court date. Like that really, you're just trying to save face for this court date, not for this case. You know what I'm saying? And it's just not adding up, bro. and you know, to me, it's like, why would you, at the accident, I wouldn't jump out, I wouldn't hop out my car and run over to the other side of the street. I would wait for assistance or something, especially if I think it's an accident. But if I know I did it, that makes more sense for him to dip out the car across the street and evade the scene, right? So that tells its own story. Like, it makes no sense. And then, you know, it's just not adding up, right? And let's see. And then they had the eyewitness interviews and whatnot, talk about there being two cars racing. You know, I didn't put this in there, but and you know, it's like, okay, that makes more sense, right? And so now we're gonna go to what Judge Faith rules in this case, because it looks like it's going towards the plaintiff's way, and you know, good for her, good for them. Let's see. And another thing, you drive an Acura in the Bay, and y'all be drag racing, bruh. Ghost Ride the Whip. Come on now. They be drag racing in the Bay. I mean, come on now. And it's just all like, you effed up, bro. Just admit to it. Own up to it. Because you could have hurt somebody. You hurt yourself, but you definitely could have hurt somebody else. So yeah, let's see what the judge rules, right?
And now, Judge Faith rules.
Okay, so here's what we're going to do. There are two issues. There's the issue of liability and there's the issue of damages. You have stood before me this entire case and you have admitted to nothing. You've made no concessions whatsoever, despite the damage you've caused, not only to yourself and your selfish actions that night, driving around in those conditions with no insurance, but also to the other people involved. So on the issue of liability, I find that you are responsible. On the issue of damages, I find you're responsible for more than the statutory maximum that this court allows. I can only award you $5,000. You should be getting more, but that's the statutory maximum. As a parent of two young children, how are you making these kind of irresponsible decisions at this point in your life? You decide to bring two lives in this world that you're taking care of, and you have to show them the way? How are you going to do that? Easy. If you don't start making better choices for yourself. It's not that easy.
I did
because you're not
everything
doing
I had to do.
$5,000 judgment for the plaintiff.
All right, so Judge Faith gave it to the plaintiff, and she deserved it. And it's still kind of bad because I didn't put this in there, but she, with her own insurance, she had insurance, but she didn't have comprehensive. And so because she wasn't in her actual car when it happened, they said they wouldn't cover it. And now, like she said in the beginning, she just bought a car, $10,000, and now this accident happened and she can't even pay for it. And so, and like Judge Faith said, she can only give her $5,000. But broke down Michael B over there. You know, he owes him more. He should be paying out more because of his recklessness, right? And so, and then going back to the argument of liability versus damages, how I explained in the beginning of what a PI case is, she ruled in favor of plaintiff, and rightfully so. And so there you go. Like, you got the plaintiff story and the defendant story, and they both, were different, right? I mean, the defendant, he blatantly lied about it, right? Didn't admit to anything. And it's like you have that every day in cases, and that's why it's good to have representation and make sure you're thorough when these things happen, because especially if they have fault, and they don't want to pay, they're gonna do everything in their interest, not yours. And so you gotta look out for yourself, and that's just human nature. That's real life, right? That's why we have these things in place. And I've had a couple of accidents where it was an accident that wasn't my fault. A truck sideswiped me. I was on my way to the gym. I was still in chiropractic school. We just finished finals, and I was ready to get all my stress out and go to the gym. It was a wet and rainy night, and I was on my way to the gym. I was almost there, and I'm at a dark intersection. Light turns green. There's a black truck right next to me, black pickup, and they don't see me. I guess I'm in a blind spot. I don't know how not know. I was literally directly next to them. We're the only two cars on this narrow street, and they try to get in my lane, and I'm literally right next to them. And they sideswiped my driver's side, and they almost didn't pull over. Another driver in another pickup had to direct them over to pull over, because they weren't gonna pull over. Looked like they were a little in shock and also trying to evade. And so we pulled over, exchanged information. They literally said this wasn't their truck; it was their dad's truck. And they were trying to get over to a family's house for an emergency or whatever. And I say, okay, can I get your dad's information at least? And so I got her dad's information. But I didn't take a picture of the dang license plate. And that messed me up because the insurance was expired. So I couldn't do nothing. And I learned my lesson, right? And so I couldn't even go to the gym, and I had that happen, and I was just so mad. But so that was a good case, and always advocate for yourself, and get as much information as you can, because people will try to dupe you. And so now we're gonna go to our next segment here, which is actually getting into the AI videos that I got. And so we'll go from the first, second, and third, and yeah, we'll go from there. All right, peace. Too fast at the slow